first thing is we've just launched a community show. I talked about it in the last meeting. So Age UK, the Big Local, Westfield Big Local, and the Carers Centre are now broadcasting a show every week. So they are always looking for community features which we can cover there. Secondly, I interview Dina Romero every fortnight, who's the cabinet member for community, amongst other things. We are visiting various sites every fortnight as well to actually undertake the interviews and publicise what the community sites are doing. So we went to Julian House 2 weeks ago. We've been to various sites as well across the Somer Valley area. If you're a community, if you're a community organisation, you'd like to be featured, free publicity, let me know. I'll put my email address in the contacts. And lastly, on my show every week, I'm doing a feature on the cost of living crisis. And again, if you want to feature anything on the cost of living crisis, I'll do that on my show every week. And I think that's about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. Much appreciated for keeping it nice and brief in that. Anyone got any questions that they wanted to put directly to Richard at all? I can't see any hands going up. I'll move on to my next person on my screen. That's Abby Gray.
Hi, everyone. I'm new in post and new to Keynsham, so I'm the Youth Development Officer for Keynsham. So I'll be managing the small youth centre Timeout. I don't know if people have heard of that. It's just behind like the sports centre and the council buildings. So yeah, we've just appointed 3 new members of staff. So there'll be 4 youth support workers who work 10.5 hours a week. So they'll do 2 sessions a week and then have the rest of their time to finish that, to do their NVQ2s. So yeah, we're just finalising everything, and I'm going to consult with young people in all the secondary schools just to check everything before we open, and obviously things are subject to change, but we're looking to launch on the 19th of October, but that's not entirely set in stone. But the youth club will be opening soon, and we'll have 3 sessions in the youth club from 7 till 9 p.m. One of them will be for younger ages, around 11 to 14, and the rest will be for 14 to 19. And we'll do 1 evening of outreach. But as I said, like, we just need to finalize that. So, but yeah, everything will be posted on the website. We've got a new Timeout Instagram, so we'll be sharing information with young people through that. So yeah, I'm trying to add all local services to our Timeout Instagram. So if you've got an Instagram, let me know, and then we can see what each other are doing. Yeah, any questions, then yeah, please ask. And I hope it's okay for me to be here, and if this is the right space, so I just thought I'd pop along and see. Yeah.
Absolutely, thank you, Abby. Yeah, you're absolutely in the right place. This is for all groups of and all organisations across Baines to share information, and it sits side by side with our interagency bulletin, which also hones in on a lot of the funding opportunities as well, and that's all available through our website. Okay, next person on my screen, I've got Laura Nichols.
Hiya, thanks for having me today. So as I mentioned in the chat, I'm Laura. I'm the Community Engagement Officer at the Roman Baths and the Bath World Heritage Centre. And my job involves talking to people about things that I find interesting and hosting and running activities, whether it's welcoming community groups to our new Claw Learning Centre, or if it's me going out and about with my little wheelie case coming to deliver talks or activities to some of your community groups. So just to give you an example, yesterday I was at a care home. We did a session about Roman food. Over the summer, we've had Bath Mind at our Claw Learning Centre, learning about the Roman way of life. We've also had some postgraduate university students who were part of the Bath University Wellbeing Group. They came to us over the summer for weekly sessions focusing on threads and textiles and history. So that was a wellbeing art group. We do all sorts. I do also online talks. So yeah, I'm quite flexible. So if you've got a community group or a group of people that might like to find out a little bit about history, but in a very gentle way, but also maybe throwing in some wellbeing activities or sort of art, creative stuff as well. If you want to visit us, if you want me to visit you, do feel free to get in touch. I did pop my email address in the chat there, but there's lots of different ways we could work together. We've worked with young people, older people, anyone really. So yeah, if you would like to have a chat about how we could work together, feel free to ping me an email. My email address is laura_nichols@bathnes.gov.uk. Yeah, and we can set up a chat and see how we can work together. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura. Moving on swiftly, Helen Watts, please.
Hello, everybody. Please excuse if I cough. I'm a post-COVID, person at the moment. It's still going round, by the way. Get your booster. So I work for the Carers Centre, and I just draw your attention to an upcoming training that is actually advertised in the very useful bulletin. Just another plug for Mark's bulletin there. So we have a mental health training aimed at unpaid carers. So in other words, that's how to cope with mental health issues if you are an unpaid carer. And we've got an online course starting on the 1st of November. That's in an afternoon slot. And we've got an in-person course starting on the 3rd of November. That's 6 till 8:30 in the evening. So all those, the details and excuse me, how to sign up, those are all on the interagency bulletin. If you haven't heard that one, I'll just say one more time, interagency bulletin, really, really useful resource. And you can get further details for that. And that's our second mention of the Carers Centre in the first, where we are, 12 minutes of the meeting, which is great. The radio show at Summer Valley and this training, just in case you don't know and you're new to this group, the Carers Centre works with unpaid carers who live or work or reside in the Baines area. So that's not just Bath, that's the whole of North East Somerset. And we work with anybody with a caring for a sibling, a parent, a spouse, even a neighbour. And some of our carers, they start at the age of sort of 4 or 5, and that's quite a hard one to really accept, that there are children of that age with caring responsibilities. And I think our eldest carer is 93. And this kind of day in, day out caring, it can take a real toll on people's, not only their mental health, but their physical health, their ability to sort of just run ordinary everyday lives. So we try and ease that journey for carers. The other thing that I will attempt to put a link in the chat is we are also, as we're all professionals here, we also have a new offer, which is a professional e-news. So this is a regular little update, roughly every 6 weeks, where you'll get a little useful bit of hint or tip or idea or information about how you can, as professionals, can better support unpaid carers. And it's very easy. You just click on the link, one of these subscribe thingies. Then we get your email address, and then it all just comes automatically into your inbox. It's the world of technology has made some things quite a bit easier. So I'm Helen Watts, and my job is to go out and about, meeting professionals, sharing what we do at the Carers Centre, and most importantly, trying to find the easiest possible way for you guys to refer carers that you come across and to send them our way. So you can do that online. Again, I'll attempt to put that in the chat, the little link. It's very, very easy, or you can just phone up if the online thing is not your thing. You can just phone up. We have a free phone helpline. So I think that's probably enough before I start coughing down your ear holes, which is not pleasant with that raspy COVID thing. So I will sign off there and say thank you very much to Mark for facilitating these really helpful information sharing meetings. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Helen, and I hope you feel a lot better soon.
Thank you.
You've muted yourself, Mark.
Thanks, Chris. Sorry. I was just about to bring you in, Chris, and just ask if you have an update.
Okay, I'm Chris Essex. My main community role is as treasurer of Salford Community Association, and I was one of 4 platinum champions created earlier in the year, which I was very honoured to be. I was going to give a quick update on our Ukrainian support group. We have a group that comprises all known hosts in the Salford, Keynsham and Corston area. There are currently 37 Ukrainians being hosted in 16 homes by 27 people. 9 of the hosts are in Salford, 6 in Keynsham and 1 in Corston. We also we're offered an empty 4-bedroom house in Keynsham that was provided rent-free, and we've managed to completely furnish this entire house with items given by residents, including the contents of a house in Salford, and supplemented it by money that we have raised with our community support fund, and that's now housing a family of 4 who have come over. We did have another family hosted in Keynsham and another family hosted in Chewton Keynsham, but they have already returned to Ukraine. In both cases, elderly relatives became ill. In fact, one of those families is now looking to come back to this area, but with the grandmother who was ill, and I can't at the moment find a host for them. We have one other known family in Salford who are waiting for their Ukrainian guests to arrive, but may not happen. Every guest family arriving gets a comprehensive welcome pack from us, including donated items like iPad from Futura Learning and free SIM cards from Vodafone, and items that we specifically have bought based on being successful for others who have already come over. We also provide a small amount of cash, as we've had cases of the preloaded cards not working straight away. We also try and provide hosts with everything that they might need in order to assist with their hosting. Often these have been generously given by local residents. We run English classes every Wednesday and Saturday morning at Salford Hall, and every Saturday morning we run a free drop-in cafe for hosts and guests to be able to meet up and to offer them a range of donated items, from clothes, shoes, children's games, etc., through to providing everyone who's wanted it with a bike, all generously donated. Next Sunday, we're in fact doing a special winter clothes session with them to get them all clothed up, ready for winter. And I'm delighted to say that we were recently, as Mark well knows, been successful in getting a grant from Baines to cover the costs of these sessions in terms of hall hire and the tea and coffee we provide at the cafe for the next 3 months. Sarah, who's on this video link from Chew Valley, will be interested to know that we had some families from her area drop into the cafe on last Saturday. We have also provided financial assistance when needed for things like glasses. We've also given help with dentist fees. It's quite problematic for them to find dentists. A lot of them seem to have dental issues, and this has been really quite a challenge. There's very few people prepared to take this work on. We did a traditional Sunday roast for all the families and their hosts back in May, and I intend to repeat that by cooking them a Sunday Christmas lunch nearer that time. And although we ask residents not to donate items at Salford Hall, but to instead respond to specific appeals, they do still leave them. But at the moment, we've been able to basically provide everything that all these people have needed. On a slightly different note, I was just going to mention that a couple of weeks ago, again with support of some of the BANES agencies, we ran a very successful jobs fair in Salford, the first time we've ever run a jobs fair. We had between 20 and 30 people come along, and around 10 potential employers there, many of whom went away, I think, with some prospective new employees. That's about it from Salford.
Thank you, Chris. And I really appreciate the work you're doing there, and that money should be with you soon. Just to mention the grants that we launched a grant fund for Ukrainian support for groups to either apply for a sort of £500 grant for a one-off event or up to £2,000 to kind of bring something new to the area that wasn't being provided already. We're looking to repeat that again in around the beginning of November. So we will, once that's launched, we will share that with everybody through the normally interagency links. And it will be available again. I think it'll be about another £10,000 that will be available for organisations to apply for. So moving on, the next person on my screen is Jamie Nicholson, brother, is that right?
Hello. Yes, sorry, my wife's iPad's just decided to start making noises, but it's stopped now. Hi everyone. My name's Jamie. I work for Curo, the social housing organisation. I'm sure you've seen our vans zipping everywhere in the county. I particularly work on their WorkWise team, which is dedicated to helping anyone that applies into employment, education or training. We work with all ages from 14 to 65. So you don't have to be a Curo resident to refer. And we work under various contracts. I specifically work with the Children in Need contract, which targets 14 to 18-year-olds. So Abby, look out for my email. And we also have a wonderful new project, which is sort of my pitch for today, which is called Power Up. And this is a program for women with a particular view on the construction industry, but it's not directed at that. It's just part of the contract. There is a 5-week course that we are operating or conducting, I suppose, out of the hub at Mulberry Park, which is in Coombe Down. It focuses on loads and loads of different aspects which people may need to get into the workspace, such as identifying transferable skills, job application skills, so CVs, digital job hunting, using social media to find work. We had a fantastic guest speaker this week who spoke about self-employment and how it doesn't need to be a scary thing. Confidence, improving your confidence, relaxation and stress management, mental health, money management, apprenticeships, so many different topics are covered. And it's in a really supportive environment. They are 5 sessions, each a few hours long. Generally, it runs between sort of 10 until 1-ish, 2-ish. There is an incentive for attendees. So anyone that attends the full sessions will get £75 plus a £25 Amazon voucher. At the moment, we have 2 cohorts. So we have one cohort, which is for women over, I think it's the age of 16. And the other cohort is for young people. So between the ages of 16 and 25, and they can be men or women. The woman session is actually currently attended exclusively by refugees, Ukrainian refugees, Chris. So I'm thinking you might like to at least let the Keynsham families know that this is an option if they do have any women there that wanted to come along. The idea behind it is to basically help people that haven't ever worked or haven't worked for a while to get an understanding of the job market as it currently is. So update their CVs, figure out where to find the jobs, how to approach people in an interview in a formal setting, what to expect from work, and then also help them to work on themselves with confidence and well-being mentioned as well. It's a really good opportunity and we're really eager to make it work. We do other things as well, but that's our main focus at the moment. Yeah, any questions, pop them in the chat and I'll send out any adverts to anyone that wishes to refer people. It's a really, really simple application process. They literally just email me and I go, yep, you're in this term. The next course starts on the 13th of October and they run on Thursdays and Fridays. And I've probably bombarded you with loads of information, which I'm happy to put in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Really interesting. Moving on, the next person I've got on my screen is Hannah Wilkins. Have you got an update for us, Hannah?
Hi, hello. I'm
Hello.
Phyllis Diaz Bathness. I'm also new to Post as well. So I was just going to explain what we do. We offer legally based, impartial and confidential information, advice and support about special educational needs and disabilities as it relates to education, health and social care. And we also offer support when a young person is excluded from school. We were previously known as the Send Partnership Service, but we have now obviously changed our name to Send Diaz Bathness. I will put our new website in the chat as well, and you can make referrals from parents or professionals for young people via our website. So I'll do that now. And that was just a very quick update from us.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you.
Helen Allen, do you have an update for us, Helen?
Hi everyone. So I'm new in Post as well. I'm currently working for Swan Transport that some of you may have heard of. So our organisation provides vital transport to members of our community who may not be able to access transport in other ways. So that's the sort of background. The kind of trips that people need will be things like health appointments, dental appointments, but also really, really crucial to their well-being. It might be a trip to the hairdressers or a social event. So we try and get people where they need to go, basically. So that's the existing organisation. My post is new and it's time limited. It's a pilot project. And my brief, there's lots of interesting people on here that I'm going to be emailing. My brief is to recruit volunteers, and the age range is 18 to 25. The kind of roles that we're looking at would be to act as travel buddies, so coming along as a extra bit of company for people as they make their journeys, hosting our social events, and depending on the person, that might be, you know, even if they're involved in the planning of it and they don't want to go to the actual event, that's absolutely fine. So we can match the sort of the role with the person. Or if there's anyone in that age range that can drive, we're also looking for drivers. So if you've got anyone that's sort of on your radar who's that age group, so it's 18 to 25s, who may benefit from I would say our organisation is very small, very welcoming. We know all of our passengers and drivers, so it's a very gentle kind of start to volunteering. So if anybody knows of anyone or wants to learn more about what we're doing, please be in touch. I'll pop my email in the chat. But yeah, and our I guess the other thing that's important is the location is really broad as well. So we're looking within the whole of Baines. And yeah, our current passengers, we generally transport people that tend to be older, but I've been out and met some of them and they are really keen to have more of a multi-generational kind of cohort of people. So they are keen and would be very welcoming if we could find some young people to volunteer with us. So thank you.
Thanks, Helen. Mel Mesa, I think you're up next.
Yes, hi. Yeah, I'm Mel Mesa. I'm the coordinator for the Baines Children and Young People's Network. And this is my second meeting. I joined the role in July. So we're a network of over 160 voluntary and community sector organisations that work to support children and young people. We have a monthly e-bulletin, we have quarterly face-to-face meetings, and we are represented on various strategic level boards across BAMES. So what I'd like to say to you, and I'll put it in the chat, is that if you're interested in becoming a member, please contact me. But also, if you just want to share some information that where you would like to reach that voluntary community sector community, then again, please contact me and I can put things in the e-bulletin. And I'll put that in the chat. I have to leave at 1:30 latest, so I've got to go to a face-to-face meeting. So thank you.
Thank you, Mel. Sarah, is that correct? Sorry, I'm not very good with names. I think you're on mute, Sarah.
Do you want me or Sarah Talbot?
Sarah Diacono.
Oh, Diacono.
Sorry, I'm not very good with names. Sorry.
Don't worry. Don't worry. That's fine. I wasn't sure. Hi, I'm Sarah Diacono, and I lead the Chew Valley Ukrainian Support Network, as Chris mentioned earlier. We cover an area really which crosses both BAMES and North Somerset, and we actually also go into a bit of Somerset itself, but not into Bristol. We currently at the moment provide similar type of offering to the one that Chris has identified. We've got about 42 families who are currently sponsoring, which represent about 84 Ukrainians in total. And we do similar kinds of things as that Chris mentioned. Without going through the details, which essentially would reproduce what Chris has said, I think I'd just like to focus for the sake of speed on two things, which are our future challenges. Being in the Chew Valley, one of the key issues for us is transportation, with bus services being withdrawn, and the fact that a number of our residents are in quite isolated spots. So we want to support and fund, and we've got quite a lot of funds that we've actually very good donations, and we've got grants from BAMES. We want to fund our Ukrainian guests to have either refresher driving courses, because some of them are quite nervous about driving in our country roads, or driving lessons as a whole, because an awful lot of our Ukrainian guests come from city centres and they haven't needed cars, but now they do. This is proving incredibly challenging because it appears that, as well as the many shortages that exist in the UK, there is a shortage of driving instructors, as well as a huge waiting list to take your test. So this is one challenge, and if anybody knows any tame driving instructors that we can contact, that you have influence over or you know of, please pass them in my direction, because we're very keen to set something up so that our Ukrainians can get mobile. The second challenge is that although we had our 41st family sponsorship kickoff last weekend, we have had families arrive and sponsorship schemes starting right from way back in the beginning of April, and a number of the families are wanting their guests to move on. They're committed to the first 6 months. This is proving to be a huge challenge, A, to get additional sponsors, and B, to find as an alternative, which ultimately they're going to have to do, rental accommodation. A lot of these families are now well and truly established within the Chew Valley, in the sense that they're mums with children, and the children are actually in school and they're settled in school. So we're trying our best with BAMES, and that was why I asked the question about whether or not anybody was from housing here, because I wanted to have a conversation about some issues associated with BAMES support for this. But I won't, that's not the subject of this meeting, so I won't go into that. But that is a big big challenge, future accommodation, additional sponsors, and future accommodation, given the state of the rental market in the valley, in fact, everywhere, and the difficulty that we have placing people who are on benefits within the rental sector. Very challenging. Those are the two big challenges for us, and I will leave it at that.
Thank you, Sarah. That's really helpful. And I know that Louise Murphy, who's been leading on the Ukrainian work in Baines, has recently managed to recruit some additional help. So hopefully, you know, if there is any sort of queries you've got that you need her to answer, h4u@baines@bathurst.gov.uk is our email address, and those are being picked up really quickly and dealt with if there's any inquiries coming through. Okay. Next person is Florence Okowa. Hello, Florence.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me right?
We can, yes.
Yeah. My name is Florence Okowa. I'm the Community Engagement Officer at Lendology CIC. We're based just outside Taunton. Lendology was established in 2003. I've also just started my post over 1 month ago with Lendology, so it's my first time being here. Just have to clarify. We deliver. We are a social enterprise that was established in 2003, and we lend home to home owners, even those who are not employed. And we've been doing this through the council. We work in partnership with 18 councils to give this loan. Our agenda is ensuring that housing is considered an essential of health and well-being strategies. Our social impact gives a background statistics on the local problems of housing too. So we give loans for new boilers, roofs, thatch roofs, windows, electrics, kitchens, structural repairs, energy efficiency measures, external wall insulation, disability adaptations, any range of works that are approved by the local council. Our loan, our range of loan types are based on individual circumstances. So it can be loaned to old people, those who are not employed, those who are self-employed, depending on each, because we are not computer generated, we talk to our customers and assess their personal situations at individual level. So I'm here mostly to try and reach those who are hard to reach in the community, considering that now energy crisis is a big problem and people are probably looking for loans and banks are not able to give any funding. So councils may give grants, but when they have shortfall of grants, they do refer them to us. And there are some people who are not aware of us offering this kind of loans at 4% typical APR. So if you may want to have people who may want to access our loans, I'll pop on our website, company website and number, and then you may be able to contact us or check our website to get more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Florence. Joanne Spinney. Hi, Joanne.
Hi there, sorry, just trying to unmute myself. So yeah, so I'm Jo Spinney and I work for the Wellbeing Service, which is under HCRG Care Group, who were until December were Virgin Care. So you may be more familiar perhaps with that if you haven't heard of the changeover. And I work specifically in the specialist stop smoking team. And I just wanted to let you know about a project that we're working on smoke-free homes. So it's basically a pilot project and it's aimed at young families. So families with children, young children and babies, to kind of raise awareness of the risks of secondhand smoke caused by smoking in the home, and to raise awareness of the risk to to everyone in the home, but particularly to children and young people who are specifically more at risk because of their developing lungs and so on. So it's to raise awareness and to get some of those messages out that even if they're not necessarily ready to take the full step of stopping smoking completely, that the next best thing they can do is to make their home smoke-free. And so we have developed a pack which includes some information and tips on how to go about making the home smoke-free. It also includes a couple of free items, including a thermometer card aimed at a baby and young child's room. The idea behind that is to connect up the links between sort of safer sleeping and not smoking, and obviously, you know, being generally safer for non-smoking. So there's a few items within the pack, and I've been working internally with some of our teams in health visiting, obviously working with children, with families with young children and babies, and also with some other organisations as well, including the children's centres, the fire service, and also Kiro, one of the tenancy management teams. And through that, I've been doing some training with those organisations to enable them to give out some very brief advice along with the packs. So as it's a pilot project, it's quite small, but we're hoping to maybe extend it if it does go well. So a lot of the packs mostly have been allocated now, but I do have some left. So if anyone is working with any families, young families who might benefit, or you think would like some advice and possibly benefit from making the home smoke-free, I'll put my contact in the chat. We also have quite a lot of the smoke-free homes leaflets as well. So yeah, so I'll put my contact in there. You can also obviously refer anyone who is a smoker who wants to take that further step and actually fully quit, as we offer free support to any smoker who lives or works in the Baines area, aged 12 and up, to basically get free support to stop smoking. So you can you can make those referrals to us, or they can self-refer. So I'll put that information in the chat as well. So I don't know if anyone has anything to ask about that.
Thanks, Joanne. Anyone got any immediate questions? I can't see any hands at the moment. So if there's anything you want to follow up on, use the chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure, Joanne. Next, I've got Sue Paul from Health Watch. Hi, Sue.
Hi there, thank you. Just briefly for people that are new, Health Watch, our role is to gather people's feedback about their experiences of accessing health and social care in the area, and then we aim to help bring about improvements in health and care by sharing that feedback with the Health and Wellbeing Board or the new Integrated Care Board in Bath, Swindon and Wiltshire. So our role is to try and be the patient's champion or the patient's voice. So we do that by going out and trying to engage with people, ideally through a lot of other organisations, and people can engage through website or through phone. We have a monthly newsletter as well, so if anyone wants to share any information about their services that are related to health and social care, we can do that through our newsletter. So I did put my email on the chat there a little bit higher up. Yeah, so that was it really. We have got 2 reports for some pieces of work we did a while back, one on carers and their experiences during COVID, and also the experience of people with mental ill health during COVID, and those are about to be published really soon. So they will be on our website, but if anyone wants any information about what we do, please email me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Mel Hodgson, are you there, Mel? Are you there?
I am here. Hang
Hello,
on.
Mel.
Here we are. Hang on. There we are. Hi, everybody. Yes, so I work for Bath and North East Somerset Council, and part of what I do is my team manages Live Well Baines, which is a web-based resource. Some of you will already know about it, but briefly, for those who don't, the council is tasked with providing certain information. The drivers are sort of various bits of legislation, which I won't go on about now. So Live Well Baines, and I've put earlier on in the chat is a link to the website and also our Facebook page and my email address. So Live Well Baines comprises of information for 3 discrete audiences: adults who need care or support. So that's not any adult, but any adult who needs care or support, whether that's a mental health issue, whether it's physical or sensory impairment, whether they're older. So any care or support need. It's also the council's or Baines Send local offer. which is information, parenting support activities, what's on for parent carers with a child, a young person with a special educational need or disability. And finally, it also provides children and family information. So that's all registered, Ofsted registered childcare in Baines, parenting support, activities, services, organisations, anything a parent or carer will need. So my reason for being here today is just to raise awareness about Live Well Baines. Also, just to briefly mention a couple of new things we have on this on the resource, which I'm really excited about. We have lots of new information around autism, including some new information about autism in girls with autism, autism and gender, autism, young people, so, and a lot of information targeted at young people. So it's for the young people with autism, and also some new ADHD information. On the adults information side of things, we have a new self-assessment tool, which essentially a lot of people come to the website and they don't know where to start. They don't know whether they need some care at home or a care home, or whether they need what they need. So to help that, we've got a tool which is called Where Do I Start? And that guides people through to the information and support for them or their loved one. Also, crucially or topically, we have a new cost of living section as well, which signposts people to a massive range of support and organisations to help with whether that's food insecurity or fuel bills, etc., mental health support, and so on. So my call to action, as it were, is have a look, please, at Live Well Baines. Give me some feedback. If you would like me to send you a supply of postcards, I know that's round the wrong way, but we've got some postcards that we're happy to send you, so you can give out to the people you work with or support. And also, I'm more than happy, me or a team member is more than happy to come along to your meetings and give you or your team or service a little mini tour of what Live Well Baines offers. So if you'd like to take the postcards or the mini tour offer up, please do email me. I think that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. Thanks very much. Becky Brooks, are you still on the call? Hi, Becky.
I am. I'm just having sneaky lunch, so I'm back to back all day today. So yes, hi everyone. I am Becky Brooks. I am relatively new, I suppose. I started as the new director at Bath and North East Somerset Third Sector Group, so you may know us as the 3SG. I started in May, and I've met a few of you already, which is brilliant. And so our role is really about sort of collaborative working within the third sector and to link people up and be supportive and offer training and workshops. So we're an independent membership network, and we support local charities, social enterprises, faith and community groups across the whole of Bath and North East Somerset. And we help to raise the profile of our members. We offer one-to-ones if you have a problem or an issue. We do networking and training and lots of work at the moment. I'm doing lots of work in terms of the integrated care system that's coming in, because the voluntary community and social enterprise sector has been allowed a seat at the table there. So I'm doing a lot of work on that to figure out what that all means for everybody. And we'll be hosting some events later on in the year to explain that. So that's taking up a lot of time. We're also working on, we do a lot of work with our partners here at the Community Engagement Team at the Wellbeing Hub, WECA and Baines Council. We've been doing some work with the School of Social Entrepreneurs recently, so we've just finished a whole schedule of training and workshops for members and non-members of 3SG, which you can have a look at on our website, and I'll pop all of this information in the chat at the end alongside my email address as well. And as part of the Sse Grant Funding, we've been doing some work with refugees as well. So we have been helping Ukrainian refugees who, women specifically, with one of our member charities, First Impressions. So they've been working with refugees to have a uniform or clothes they feel comfortable in, and to provide them with skills and training and support with care packs to make women feel really confident as they go into their interviews. So that's been brilliant. And we're also doing a little bit of work currently with Bath Welcomes Refugees to help some Syrian cooks who would like to set up their own supper club. So we're offering some training and support for them. So hopefully that will be really useful as well. We have lots of events coming up. So this week is Inclusion Week. So there's one starting at 2 p.m. if you've got clear diaries. I'm not sure anyone here will, but we have a session coming up at 2 p.m. this afternoon, which I'll pop in the chat. And that's on inclusive marketing. It's going to be a really good session. And then we've got 2 more on Thursday. We have an In Trustees We Trust. So that's been a series of workshops about better inclusivity and diversity on trustee boards. That's on Thursday between 10 and 12:30. And then we have an in-person event, which is taking place at Thoughtful Bakery Thursday evening. And that's being held, led by Be in Bath on inclusivity as well. That's like sort of an interactive workshop. So if you'd like to join us for that, please do. And I will pop any information in the chat about if you'd like to become a member of 3SG or just have a chat with me or sign up for any of those events. I'll put that in the chat there. So yeah, look forward to connecting with some of you.
Thank you, Becky. Next name I've got on the list is Rachel Bonza. Are you there, Rachel?
Hello, yes, I'm here. So I'm Rachel and I work for a charity called ARA Recovery for All. And we are the regional provider in the Southwest for any gambling harm treatment. So we have a few different projects. So we have a South Asian project, which works with those in the South Asian community and any gambling harms they may be experiencing. A criminal justice project, where we work with those in the criminal justice system. A 6 to 10 project, which is fairly new, and that works with any affected others of someone dealing with the gambling harms. And that offers sort of holistic support. So if that's anything to do with sort of housing or mortgage payments or trauma themselves, then we can support them. Sorry, it's called ARA, so A-R-A. I'll put some information about it in the chat as well. I personally work on the youth project. So I run what is called the Young People's Gambling Harm Prevention Programme. So I deliver free workshops. So I go into sort of schools, colleges, youth clubs, youth centres, and I deliver these workshops for anyone aged 11 to 19. And it kind of goes over sort of what are some risk factors, some signs to look out for. We talk about advertising, like how they hook you in. And we also talk a lot about gaming and how gambling is prevalent there. So things like loot boxes and skins betting. And we also run those workshops as well for anyone working with young people, so any youth facing professionals. And those ones are actually CPD accredited as well. Everything we offer is completely free, and all the treatment that we offer is also confidential. So I'll pop a little bit about us in the chat with my email, and if anyone wants to get in touch, then that's absolutely brilliant. Yes, I do visit schools and run those workshops there. So if you know any contacts, that would be absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Simon McNeil-Ritchie, hello.
Hello. Actually, just before I start, Joanne reminded me of a gym I went to 30 years ago, and my girlfriend at the time smoked, and I have to say at the weekend I smoked as well. So when the instructor said, you know, Simon, do you smoke? I said, well, actually, I suppose I have to say I do. And he said, you're 31. When did you start smoking? And I said, well, when I was 30. And he put his Fitboard down and his pen, and he looked at me and he gave me the hardest stare and said, Simon, nobody starts smoking at 30. And I stopped there and then. I'm the MD and founder of Radio Bath. It's a radio that runs on digital and internet. We broadcast across from Salisbury, right across to Keynsham, down to Warminster and up to Tetbury, that sort of area. We've been going for nearly 2 years. And the main reason I'm here is to say that if anybody wants to come on and talk to us, that's really our primary raison d'etre. We're a charity. We run entirely by volunteers. We have had about 1,000 guests on since the beginning of this year. Some of them are business, some of them are civic, some of them are cultural, so we cover all of those things. But our biggest role is to give charities, particularly local organisations and social groups, an opportunity to promote themselves. We have started getting out and about now that we're able to do so. So we quite often do live interviews or even live shows from the charities themselves. We were up at the Cats and Dogs Home recently. We've been to the Bath City Foundation, we've been to City Farm and a whole range of others. And we very much want to be out and about and being part of the community, making things happen. And just finally, the one thing that we're now doing is we're funding a part-time role for a youth engagement officer to work with charities that have young people who want to extend their pathway by giving those young people an opportunity to come and have a bit of fun at the radio station, but also perhaps to find their voice and explore other opportunities for them to develop new skills or just confidence and self-esteem. So if anybody would like to get in touch with us, tell us about events they're doing, come on to talk about their work, or join forces with our youth engagement officer, all they've got to do is drop an email to studio@radiobath.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Scarlett Hagger, you're next on the list. Hi.
Hello. My name is Scarlett. I work for the Growth Hub in the west of England. So we do cover Baines. We also cover, I know someone mentioned earlier, South Gloss. So we cover South Gloss, Bristol, and also North Somerset. So yeah, a few different areas. So generally, you may have heard of the Growth Hub before. We offer business support to businesses. We fund lots of different business support programs. I know we've got someone on here from Cool Ventures, which is fantastic. So we often refer to Cool Ventures in the Baines area for a universal business support program, especially for startup businesses. So there's also a program that I'm working on in the Growth Hub, which is called Migrant Business Support. So this will maybe prick up some of the ears of anyone who's mentioned supporting Ukrainian refugees. So if anyone is supporting Ukrainian refugees and they're looking for business support programs or support in entering the world of business, or they've had a business before, then by all means, please get in touch, please refer them over. Or if you'd like us to come along to any of your events to speak to anyone that you're supporting, just to see if, let them know about the support that's available, that would be great. We've recently been talking to Sue at Cool Ventures about trying to organise the Universal Business Support Programme alongside migrant business support, so that any support that for the individual that falls outside of business support, they've still got that added layer. So whether that's there's something else I need to mention actually as well. But whether that's they want to join Universal Business Support, but they're not confident in their language, then maybe if there's a few people joining, we can look at getting a translator in for those sessions that they'd like to join, just to make sure they can still access it. If they do want to join, start a business, but there's something else that's getting in the way that we can help them with, then we try to break down any of those barriers. So that's the idea of the programme, and seeing what we can do. And that's a bit about what we're working on at the moment in Baines. I believe someone mentioned earlier about driving in Chew Valley, Sarah Diacano. So I know that, so we have partnered with ACH on migrant business support, and they've got lots of volunteer translators, and they've also got courses and programs. And one of their courses, I wouldn't be able to give you all of the information on it because I don't work in their courses department, but I know that they've got a driving awareness class for those from a refugee or migrant background aged 19 to 25 through their Unlocked program. So if that is of any interest, I believe their training courses tend to be in Bristol, but again, do feel free to get in touch, and I can pass you on to someone in the courses team with ACH who might be able to help there. So yeah, let me know if you've got any questions.
That's lovely, thank you. Tracy Kovac, I think you're next on my screen.
Well, I do know quite a few of the faces in the room, which is marvellous. I was at the jobs fair over in Salford, so well done, Chris. Richard Burgess, yeah, we keep bumping into each other. You can't escape. I know where you work. Was up at Curo last week talking to the Ukrainian ladies about considering self-employment and or doing hybrid employment, etc. But the main day job of what I do is engagement manager for Cool Ventures. Cool Ventures, if you haven't heard of us, we cover 2 territories in South Gloucestershire and Baines, and we look to talk to residents thinking of starting in business. We look to talk to small local businesses in the SME space, small local charities and KICs. And the training we offer is everything from how to manage your social media, boost your business with blogs, creating a business roadmap, Facebook and Instagram for beginners, how to win more customers, you name it, we've got it. There's one coming up at the moment, which may be of interest to quite a few of you on here, which is our cybersecurity one. It's run by the Avon and Somerset Police, and I cannot see the date. Oh, 3rd of November, 11 o'clock in the morning. And it's really comprehensive, great little course. It's about an hour or so long, but what they do is actually give you some threads and some extra information and links to click onto to make sure that your work laptop is absolutely bulletproof from anything out there. We offer up to 12 hours free training. It's pick and mix. It's like walking, for you young'uns, you won't know, but Woolworths back in the day, where you could go and choose your sweeties. It's like that. So you register for the program. Most of them are done on webinars. We've got a big program running down in Midsummer Norton though. So these are face-to-face events. 6th of October, selling at local events, fairs and markets. How to write a business plan for funding. We're doing a business breakfast down there on the 18th of October. Richard, you're definitely on the list. Richard Burgess, that is. Social media strategy on the 3rd, essential finance for new business, and starting in business on the 8th of December. These are face-to-face. They're going to be based in the Wansdyke Centre at Enterprise Park. And you'll see quite a lot of promotion through a little bit on LinkedIn, but quite a lot through Facebook. So it's there for everybody to attend, to come along, and it's all free. So do you know anybody in that lovely BA3 area? So Radstock, Midsummer Norton, over towards Farrington, Gurney. Yes, I know the postcode changes, but in that local area, because we want to bring it local to people. And that's me. I did put my stuff in the chat earlier because I'm a bit like that, really.
Thank you, Tracy. That's very, very comprehensive. Thank you very much. Sarah Tolbert, are you still with us, Sarah? Hello, Sarah.
Hi, thanks very much. Yes, I'm from Age UK, Bath and North East Somerset. And what we are all about, as most of you have heard of us, but what we're all about is trying to encourage an age-friendly community. So that's breaking down the barriers to living later life well. So to summarize what we do, for those of you who don't know about us, we locally, obviously, because we're a local organization, we do free information and advice. We do home support and we do community connections. So my role is I'm the community connections manager. And what I'm all about is trying to connect older people and breaking down the issues around loneliness and social isolation. So we have, at the moment, our day clubs, which we have gradually been building up after the COVID pandemic. I know it's not quite over with us yet, actually, but we have been encouraging people to come out and regather in their groups. We still have quite a few spaces in our Bath group, which runs 4 days a week. And we also have a few spaces in the Midsummer Norton one. We run memory groups as well, and in Keynsham, Midsummer Norton and Bath. And again, we have some spaces in those if people are interested. There's transport for using our minibuses to all of those. And we run a telephone befriending service. We are this autumn relaunching our face-to-face befriending service, which is really great because that had to unfortunately close down due to the pandemic. But we're looking for anyone who's interested in volunteering. So that is, they would receive some training from us, and then people be matched up to an older person who's probably housebound who would like to have a cup of tea and a chat. So yes, if anyone's interested in that, please get in touch with us. That's via our website, which is Age UK Baines. Yeah, it's very straightforward. And the other new thing it's coming along in the autumn is our digital inclusion project, which is building on our existing Click Cafe, which currently only happens in Bath. That's where people bring their laptops or their iPads or their mobile phones and have one-to-one support through appointment only at the moment. But again, it's one-to-one support to helping people who are struggling with digital gadgets and devices that often for older people it's just not so easy. And nowadays life obviously is going online so much that we feel that it's so important for everybody to have that extra bit of support. So that's me. You can find us, as I say, through our website, ageukbains.co.uk. So I didn't explain it very clearly earlier. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Sarah. Michelle Gorham, are you still with us, Michelle?
I am. I was just busy writing in the chat. Sarah, can I get your email address, please? Oh dear, sorry. Quickly do something different. So I've been here once before. My name's Michelle Gorham. I'm the Customer Relationships Manager for Medford Manor, which is currently under construction. A nice CGI there behind me of what it will look like up in Odd Down. So we are going to be a large 18-room care home looking after people living with dementia, residential nursing, and so on. And we'll have a mixture of suites and rooms and so on. The reason that I'm here is prior to us opening next year, it's really important that we become a part of our community. We are under, thank you, Sarah. I'm going to grab that email address. We are undertaking community events, linking with our community, doing fundraising and things like that. So we're well established within our community prior to us opening. And actually, we have an information suite, which is a new venture for the care home industry in Broad Street in Bath, where people can come and chat to us. And one of the things at the moment, of course, is people need signposting and support elsewhere because we can't immediately help them. So it's really great that I'm getting some details and things of ways in which we can support those families in the meantime, whether they eventually come back and chat to us in the future or not. It makes no odds, but obviously we want to make sure we're supporting people to make those choices. So we are due to open next year. Summertime, construction industry has been difficult, so we've been delayed a little bit. It's a very, very large home that we're building, but we will also, the other aspect is we will also have space, which we may potentially be able to offer in community groups and things like that. So it's kind of multifaceted, really, the reason I'm here. But I have actually taken quite a few people's details down, which will be in touch, things like the World Heritage Centre, Roman Bath Talks, because that'll be important for us later on in terms of activities and so on, music therapy. Age UK, of course, Sarah, I will be giving you a call because obviously one of the things is that if people want to continue living at home, that we can help support signpost them to continue to do that. Care home isn't always the answer, we know that. But that's me, and thank you so much for letting me join today.
Michelle. I've got a couple more people to go. Thank you so much for your patience today. We've had a lot of people to get through, and I think we've heard from nearly 25 people already, so we've had an awful lot of information shared. The next person I've got Kang Lee Fu. Are you still with us, Kang Lee?
Yes. Hi. Hi. I'm from the Stroke Association. So we are a national charity. We support people affected by stroke. I'm the engagement officer for the Southwest area. So the main thing I do is to kind of support local partnership working and then raise awareness for referral into our kind of local and national services. We have in the Southwest area, I know in the local area, we have different stroke support group that's volunteer led. They support stroke survivors and their family members. So if you or anybody you know or your organization are kind of running any events or any services that you think might benefit people affected by stroke, or you want involvement from stroke survivors, then feel free to get in touch with me. I'll share my contact there. Another thing is we have a lots of we have some really useful national service for people affected by stroke, including their carers and then stroke survivors themselves. We have a national helpline that people can call, and we have on our website, people can search for their local support group by typing their postcode. And also they can search for any local, we have commissioned local services that, for example, we have communication support service and a stroke recovery service in local areas that people can find out and then self-refer them to those services. And we also provide emotional support in terms of, like, we have a Here For You service for any stroke survivors that's newly discharged. Just want a kind of friendly phone call once a week that normally will be carried out by a trained volunteer or another stroke survivor who's one of our kind of we call it a community connector or volunteer that be able to give a up to 3 months, I think, like once a week a phone call. So yeah, that's the main kind of thing we do, but there's loads of information on our website. Yeah, thank you.
You're muted, Mark.
Thanks, Helen. The next name I've got is Rachel Bonzer. Is Rachel still with us?
Hi, I've already gone.
Oh, have you? Sorry, Rachel. I forgot to tick you on. Simon Graham, then. Simon.
I'm not Simon, obviously. He couldn't make it today, so I'm stepping in his place. My name's sorry, I was just doing the same stuff in my face with lunch as well. My name's Lorraine, I'm from Future Bright. I did pop a post in earlier just regarding the new national living wages increase this week to £10.90 an hour. We work predominantly with people that are in work, either earning below the £10.90 an hour or on benefits. So that could be universal credit or the old style fashion benefits. We offer free one-to-one coaching, career coaching with anybody. And that can entail helping them out with funding towards further training or help with their self-employment or just looking at other options that may be available to them. We work from anybody from the age of 18 upwards. Really easy to refer to us. You can go online or you can give us a call on our Future Bright number and one of the coaches will get in contact with them ASAP. You're on mute, Mark, still.
Sorry, I'm going to hang it this one day, won't I? Okay, Anne Phipps, are you with us, Anne?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm with Soundwell Music Therapy Trust, and I put my details quite a long way up the chat, so really near the top. We run groups for mental health recovery and wellbeing in Bath, and we do that in Bristol as well, actually. And our groups are free to anyone who comes through to us, and we've actually got spaces in all of our groups at the moment. So we run from Central URC Church in Bath, and we're going to be moving to Scout headquarters just a couple of doors down. And the groups are, we do singing for wellbeing, we have a group for unpaid carers wellbeing, and we do open and also the kind of close recovery groups for people who've got more significant and enduring mental health need, kind of bipolar or personality disorders or experience of psychosis. So a really broad range. So just a plea really, if anyone has contact with people who might benefit from a kind of non-verbal therapy, then please get in touch with us because we do have space at the moment.
Thank you, Anne. Helen, did you have an update for us? Helen Beckwith?
Yeah, just eating, same thing. Sorry. So my name's Helen Beckwith. I'm from Bath and North East Somerset Libraries. I kind of have a few kind of different areas that I cover. I'm kind of background support for the 8 independent community-run libraries, but they are linked with us through Libraries West. So they provide a very full and professional service through their 8 locations. Hello, Chris, if you're still here. Nice to see you. There are also 3 completely independent community libraries as well. But I also, today I wanted mainly to flag our mobile library, which still trundles around the area. It was new in 2018. So we have some regular routes that we go to rural locations in the authority, plus a few areas outside of Bath. But every Monday is event day. Try and contain your excitement. But we will work with any partners if it's kind of fits our criteria, which are quite wide. Anywhere that could benefit from knowing about library services. So for instance, obviously we've done the obvious kind of schools, some play groups, that sort of thing. Trying to focus on areas of need. Yesterday, I was actually down in Western Food Club and then South Down Food Club as well with the mobile library. And we also had people from welfare support, and Simon, the absent Simon, was with Future Bright as well. So it's kind of a pop-up library, and we'll work with anyone, anywhere really, as long as we've got safe and legal parking, flat parking. I'll put my details in the chat so you can get in touch with me. Just to mention as well that libraries are running a survey at the moment for parents and carers of 0 to 11-year-olds. We've had quite a few surveys for our customers over the year, and that's the kind of last one I think that we'll be doing. People who either do or don't use libraries and why, so that we can help improve our services. I could be here for a long time telling you about everything that's free. I'm hearing lots of services that are kind of vital to people's existence, you know, helping with the food and climate and all that. People need these services as well. Kind of soft services is what I call it sometimes. Anyway, do get in touch if you think you would like to work with us and I can help. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. I do think I have actually covered everybody who's left on the screen. A few people did unfortunately have to leave throughout the meeting. Thank you everyone for keeping your comments succinct and brief. That made the meeting run much smoother today. Apologies for my muting. I'll get better at that hopefully. Is there any questions anyone had before we end today at all? I can't see any hands immediately. No, okay. What I popped in the chat there, I will do a follow-up with all the sort of comments that have been made today, and I'll send you the details of when the next meeting is. And if there's anybody that you think would benefit from coming along, please, pass my details on, and we can make sure that they receive details in the future as well. But other than that, just wanted to say thank you very much for your participation, and it's been really interesting listening to everyone today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thanks very much. Nice to meet
Well
you.
done, Mark.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.